When I was recording my previous tentpole jam video, there was a moment in my improvising which stood out to me. And that got me thinking about why it was that specific moment got stuck in my head, why it was so memorable. And to me, it was because I was using a larger interval there, moving away from the basic standard scalic up and down sounds that we all know. So today I wanted to look into using intervals in your playing and how to break away from the traditional familiar sounds of scales using a couple of different methods and techniques. Firstly though guys, let me just say welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, basically everything that we do here is just all around guitar and music based betterment, basically just discovering new ways to learn and improve together. So if that sounds like something you'd like to be a part of, you know what to do. But if not, I'll just take the opportunity to say thank you for watching, and I just hope that there's something in this video that is useful for you and something that you're able to learn from. But alright, let's keep going. So firstly, what is an interval? To put it simply, it is the space between two notes. And naming an interval is based on two things, quantity and quality. Quantity being the physical distance between the two notes. In the key of C, the distance between C and E is a third because E is the third note in the scale and we're skipping that D in the middle. And quality is the sound and the mood of the intervals. So again in C, the interval between the C and the E is considered a major third because the sound of the interval is happy and vibrant. In a typical scale, the intervals range from 1 till 8, 8 being the octave above the root note. And these intervals can be named as major, minor, perfect, or diminished. And there's a lot further that you can go with intervals, but today we're just going to keep things very simple. Now, there are a number of different ways that you can use intervals in your improvising. If you're playing something melodic, you can use intervals to harmonize that passage. And thirds and sixths are great for this because they follow the underlying harmonic movement of the chords. If you're playing an arpeggio, you're simply playing a series of intervals. And even if you're just playing a passage with octaves, still intervals. Double stops are also built using intervals, and as an example of how you can use this in your improvising, I've linked a video below from the incredible guitarist Matthias Asato, as he uses double stops and he uses intervals very regularly in his playing to great effect. The sense for when and where to use intervals is something that comes only through practice, something that I definitely need to work on because I'm basically brand new to this, because different intervals work best in different contexts to express different moods, and that's something you can only learn through practice and familiarization. But while we're looking at intervals today, we are also going to be looking at another idea, a scale-based concept called permutations. Permutations isn't a word that you hear in music as often as arpeggios or chords or scales, but it's by no means less interesting. It's actually a very effective way to break away from the traditional sounds and boxes of scales and develop a whole new technical side to your playing. The concept allows for us to think of scales not as a group of notes that can be played either ascending or descending, but as a resource from which to draw an almost endless amount of melodic material. To distill the concept into as simple a form as I can, to permutate a scale means that we take the given scale and we jumble up the order in which we play the notes, but we do so in a deliberate and structured way. So to begin, we're just going to take a simple A minor pentatonic scale. Now there are 5 notes in the pentatonic scale, and we are going to number them 1 to 5, like so. And then back to 1, which is the octave above the previous root. Now we can play the scale ascending. And descending. But to permutate it, we're going to jumble up the order of those notes. So starting from the root, we're going to play 1, 4, 3, 2, and 5. And already you can hear that it sounds more interesting. To take it a step further, we'll use that same pattern, the 1, 4, 3, 2, and 5, but we'll take the second degree of the pentatonic scale, so the C, and we'll treat that now as 1 with the other notes in the scale corresponding to the 4, 3, 2, and 5, like so. And now we'll do the same thing, taking the root from the third degree of the scale. And if we were to put those three groups together, it would sound something like this. Now the best part about this is that this concept can be applied to any scale, major, minor, altered, diminished, anything. So let's take a natural major scale, G major, and with it the numbers are going to expand from 1 until 7, so we're working with a little bit more. But 7 is a lot of notes, so we'll streamline it a bit and stick to 3 notes, 1, 4, and 3. So taking our root, the 1, from the first degree of G major. Next, the second degree. Now the third. And then all together it sounds something like this. It also doesn't have to just be with ascending root notes. It can be in any direction in any form that you like. Such as descending root notes with descending permutations, descending root notes with ascending permutations. You can even introduce some string skipping into it. You can skip the root notes, you can skip the permutations, anything. The point is that it's entirely up to your creativity. And by creating passages of your choice number of notes and applying permutations, you'll uncover a whole new world of melodic ideas and a new level of technique. And now that we've looked at using permutations as well as intervals, that brings us to our final topic, which is combining the two. Now I've taken the basis for this idea from Rick Beato, and I've linked the video specifically down below, which I highly recommend that you guys go and check out. So we're going to take a simple A natural minor scale, and we're going to ascend from the root in groups of fifth intervals, like so. And you can already hear how interesting that sounds. So now we're going to take the root from the second degree of the scale and do the same. And now from the third. And here's how those three passages sound when played together. Now this already sounds great, but what if we were to apply some permutations to it? Say we were using intervals of sixth, and in the same groups of 3, instead of playing 1, 2, and 3, we instead played 1, 3, and 2, like this. And you can hear how that opens up a totally new sound and feel. Now you can use this same approach with any interval that you choose. You can grow it to 4, 5, 6 note passages, you can shrink it to 2, you can craft a whole solo out of it, you can use it for a single moment, or you can create a cool sounding sort of faster lick or run. Well, maybe not a whole solo, but you get my point. It's up to you and whatever you want to accomplish and communicate. Intervals open up a whole new level and vocabulary of harmonic expression. Permutations push you away from the traditional scalic boxes and sounds, and by combining the two of them together, you have the means to create an almost endless amount of new material. So to practice, as I'm going to start with intervals. Take a simple natural, minor, major scale and cycle through the degrees of the scale with the different degrees of intervals. And make sure to practice both ascending and descending as well. And from there you can start to expand into other scales such as modes, altered, everything. To practice permutations, start small. Take the minor pentatonic, number them as we did before, and try mixing up the numbers. From there you can expand into natural minor and major, and then after that modes, and so on. And once you've got a basic familiarity with these two concepts, once you've got them under your fingers a little bit, you can try combining them and just see what happens, see what you come up with. But that about does it for today, guys. Bit of a monster one, this one today, but I really enjoyed putting it together for you guys. These concepts are really exciting to me personally, and I can't wait to start practicing them and getting them under my fingers because I feel like they open up a whole new world of expression, and hopefully you all feel the same. As always, I hope that there was something in this video that was useful for you, something you were able to learn from. If so, let me know down below because it helps me know what works for you guys and what doesn't, and just means that I'll be able to make better videos moving forward. So drop something below, whatever you like, because I would genuinely love to hear from you. But otherwise, thanks for doing all the usual business to help support my video, help support my channel. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys in a bit.